So Michelle Wolf was so bad at comedying that she lost her job on Netflix, which is nearly impossible to do. I mean, Netflix doesn't even release viewership statistics. And Netflix had hired her because they didn't have enough left-wingers. They needed somebody who was so wildly to the left that they could then brag about how wildly to the left she was. Well, she did a comedy routine the other night that really does speak to the difference in tone about abortion that has occurred on the left. So it used to be every abortion is a tragedy, but they're necessary in some circumstances, and we can't make that very hard judgment for a woman. It's a bad argument, but at least it's an emotionally appealing argument. And then you get to Michelle Wolf. This is not just a bad argument. It is not even an emotionally appealing argument. It's actually just her being extraordinarily evil. I mean, what you're about to hear, it does sound like a Nazi eugenic celebration of the killing of the unborn, is what you're about to hear. And this was cheered by an audience. This is hideous stuff. Here's Michelle Wolf being both unfunny and also an awful human being.
And we don't talk about abortion in a real way. We talk about it in a very legislative way, but not in a real way. So I think a lot of women have a lot of apprehension surrounding it. You know, we talk about it so negatively that you feel like you should have this sense of shame after you get an abortion. Well, you can feel any way you want after you get an abortion. Get one. See how you feel. You know how my abortion made me feel? Very powerful. You know how people say you can't play God? I walked out of there being like, move over, Morgan Freeman. I am God.
Yeah, so that's a person being an evil person. But the fact is that when you have people who are openly cheering the fact, I mean, what made her feel like God there? I mean, analyze it for just a second. What made her feel so powerful? See, I don't think she's lying. I think she's being honest about how she felt. I think she probably walked out of the abortion clinic feeling very powerful because she had gotten to define life on her own terms, which is not only playing God, it's also playing Satan. I mean, that is about as evil as it gets. I felt like I was playing God when I took this human life and I killed it for my own convenience or for any other purpose because I felt like defining it that way, and thus I got to end it. And this is the same lady who once suggested that an abortion isn't killing a human life. It's just preventing it. It's like a DeLorean. She actually made this comparison. She said it's like Back to the Future and the DeLorean preventing an activity in the past. Yeah, except for the fact that it's already a human life. If you want to prevent the formation of that human life in the first place, in the vast majority of cases, we're not talking about rape. We're talking about a consensual sexual activity. There's a pretty easy way to prevent pregnancy. Birth control does exist, and or not having sex does exist. But in any case, Michelle Wolf championing the abortion. I mean, this is a shift in the language, in the tone, in the tenor of the left. And then you wonder why evangelical Christians support President Trump. You don't have to like President Trump's treatment of women. You don't have to like the fact that he says nasty things about people. You don't have to like a lot of things about the dude. But if the alternative is a Democratic Party that thinks that is funny, a Democratic Party and an entire political wing of the United States that cheers and laughs when a human being says about the killing of an unborn human being that killing made her feel powerful like God, I will vote for pretty much anything before I vote for anybody who laughs at that joke. I mean, that, like, really. I'll vote for pretty much, and evangelical Christians feel the same. See, what the left wants to do is say you have no moral standards if you vote for President Trump because President Trump is a bad man who's done bad things. Okay, well, then what does it make you to vote for people who want abortion on demand all the way up to point of birth and who refuse to even acknowledge the humanity of a baby 5 seconds before it comes through a mother's vaginal canal? Like, you're going to have to explain that one to me.